Well, thanks for joining us. Today on the podcast, we have our friend, the delectable Brody Uttley of Rivers of Nihil fame.
Delectable and delicious.
Yes, he was delicious. We ate him. No, he joined us from Reading, PA, where we learned how to properly pronounce Reading Railroad on Monopoly. It's actually Reading Railroad, and I feel like my entire life is a lie.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit confused. I
just cleared it up. That's it.
I want to look at a Monopoly board.
Okay. Well, we're going to look at a Monopoly board after this podcast.
I guess I'm shaken. I'm also shaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're shaking like the very die you would use to roll.
In the game itself?
In the game itself. Today, we discuss with our friend Brody a multitude of things. We talked about
the pronunciation of his band.
And that's pretty much it. No, we talked about the pronunciation of his band name, Rivers of Nihil.
Yeah.
We talked about the wonderful tourist location that is Reading, Pennsylvania.
The dynamic of his band.
That's true. We talked about that.
Yeah. Who does what?
What's funny?
I just feel like we're not saying much of importance.
Well,
people are going to watch it and learn what we talk about.
We're not saying much of importance, but where you can hear people talk about many important things is on the podcast you're about to watch. So please enjoy our conversation with Brody Uttley. Welcome back to our program where there's a war going on between silverfish and spiders.
It's a gang war, actually, a gang rivalry.
And we got on our little podcast show today. We have our friend Brody Uttley. You might know him from, his band. And that band is, I haven't forgotten, I'm just testing you.
Rivers of Nihil.
I was going to say Rivers of Nihil. So
when I was a teenager, actually, yeah, I thought it was Rivers of Nihil. I would try to pronounce the H. Nihil?
Yeah, Nihil?
Yeah.
Well, here
Nihil?
Here to clear up any confusion and...
Please clarify and pronounce your own goddamn band name.
Yeah, please welcome Brody Uttley. Hey, Brody.
Hello. Rivers of Nihil.
Yeah.
Is that annoying?
Like nihility.
I don't know.
Because...
I think it's a stupid name, so...
let's dig into that. Oh, wow. Okay, why do you think it's such a stupid name?
I don't know. It doesn't really mean anything to me, I guess.
How did you guys come up with it?
Hitting the hard questions here. How did you come up with your band name?
How'd you land on that and decide
that was all Jake. Jake made that the name. That was his, greatest contribution was the name that we have.
That you don't like. The name that you don't like is his greatest contribution.
No, it's great. It's great. It's fine. It's a fine name.
It's great. It's fine. You heard it here first. It's great, it's great, it's fine.
Have you ever considered, and maybe you have done this and I just don't know about it, Tron-style merch because you are Ron. Your acronym is Ron. So if you're the Rivers of Nihil, you could have a Tron shirt.
Yeah, that could work.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, our original drummer's name was actually Ron, so that was actually the another funny thing about our name.
That is funny.
Ron started Ron, so yeah.
That's very funny. So we have you here from Reading, Pennsylvania. Is that correct?
That's right. Reading, Pennsylvania.
Cool. And so it's a tourist capital of North America because of the history in the buildings. And the cleanliness of the streets. Give me a list of the top 10 favorite tourist spots in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Oh well, we have the pagoda. Which is I guess.
Is that a Japanese thing?
I know the pagoda. I mean, everybody here knows the pagoda. I mean, go into further detail, but I mean, if you don't know the pagoda in Reading, PA,
isn't the pagoda the Japanese-style roof with all the extra roofs going?
That's a bodega.
Bodega?
No, it's not. No.
I don't know.
Isn't that a pagoda?
Is that a store?
That's bodega? A store, yeah. Gotcha. Okay, so top 10 tourist attractions in Reading, PA, the bodega.
Mm-hmm.
The bodega sportswear.
Yeah. Give me a few others. Why would I spend my hard-earned vacation pay to go to Reading, PA?
You could see the Reading Railroad. That's a thing.
I almost spat my water there.
Okay, hold on. We're playing Monopoly. What do you call that railroad?
What?
Reading Railroad my entire life until I just realized now it's because of Reading.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how you...
That probably is what it's from.
I've been saying Reading Railroad rather than Reading Railroad.
But how is it spelled?
Reading.
Yeah.
So you say Reading.
No, Reading is spelled Reading, correct?
Yeah, Reading was like a big industry town, so they're like deeply tied in with like the train systems and stuff all over North America. I don't know specifically like what the deal is, but I know there's some history there.
That does sound like some history. And we're going to get really deep into that history today on the show.
Yeah, this is a history podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do you enjoy living there?
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like go out and, you know, me and Caroline don't like go out and like, you know, go to bars or anything, like kind of just shut-ins, I guess, keep to ourselves, you know, so.
I see.
But yeah, I don't know. There's nothing to do around here really, so go outside a bunch and
perfect.
About it.
Do you have like cool naturey kind of spots?
I guess. I don't know.
Sounds great.
Sounds great.
It's great. It's fine. It's fine here.
It's great.
Yeah.
That sounds great. It's fine. Yeah. Well, one of the things that Brody's well known for is his forced optimism, and he's actually masking his deep pessimism. And
he's not. He's known also for his being covetous of watches.
Yeah, that's true. And that gets me into a story years ago, or maybe a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago. I don't know the exact date. Brody noticed that I was wearing a watch, and he made a comment on it. And since then, he's now become a watch guy, and he's graduated on from his starter watch to a more intermediate style watch.
I have.
And now that you're in the watch game, has that improved your life greatly, or just significantly?
Greatly, I would say. Okay. Honestly, like after I, you know, moved into the watch game, I noticed on tour that I was starting to go to bed a lot earlier.
Right.
You know, I wasn't like staying up late and drinking alcohol with the people that stay up late in the bottom of the bus. I was going to bed and waking up feeling refreshed and looking at my watch and saying, "This says 8 a.m. and I'm wide awake and feeling great." So that's how it changed my life, specifically on tour. But you know, other than that, it's just been a good upward kind of trajectory for me since I've you know, moved into the watch game, especially since I got that last one. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Watches have that effect on people.
Do they really?
Yeah.
You're saying watches have the effect to give people a general awareness of what time it is. I would say that's fair to say. That's what I would say.
What I was going for is that watches just help make you a better person.
I see. I noticed you don't have a watch.
No, well, I do have a watch.
Anyway,
I don't
so Brody,
often wear
today
it.
on the show, have you ever gotten in a fight on tour, Brody? Let's say a street fight?
No, absolutely not.
You've never gotten in a street fight? You've never gotten punched in the face anytime on tour?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Well, I remember there was one time where I feel like you did get punched in the face, and some guys tried to, or you punched a guy in the face. That's what it was.
In London.
In London. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into that. So,
you were London, Ontario, or London, England?
London, England. Jolly old London, England. Jolly old England.
Jolly
old London town. If you don't want to get into it, that's fine. But if you do want to get into it, please get into it now. You basically fended off a group of thugs. I think that's what it was, right? Is that what it was?
I guess so. Yeah, they came after me, so I would assume as much.
Now, do you think they were being covetous of your watch?
I don't think. Did I have one then?
I don't think you did. No, I don't think. No, maybe you did.
Well, if you didn't have a watch, that's surely why they attacked you. And if you did have a watch, they were probably trying to steal your watch. So whether you didn't have it or did it, that's the reason why they attacked you.
Well,
if you didn't have the watch, they say, that guy's a piece of shit, let's attack him.
But
if you did have the watch, they say, wow, that guy really has it together, let's attack him, he probably has lots of money.
They would do it in a British accent, though. So can you do that same thing in a British accent?
No.
No. That's what I thought. So I guess we could, this has just been the warm-up to the podcast, by the way, so we haven't quite started. I guess we should explain. So how you and I know each other is, I think we met like a long time ago. like a long time ago, when your band, Rivers of Nihil, played probably in Vancouver and...
It was with Fallujah and Broken Hope.
I remember that tour. That was a highlight of your touring career, was it not?
It was good. It was our first cross country tour. It ended abruptly, but it was that was, I don't know. I look back fondly on that tour.
I think any tour you get to hang out with the guys in Fallujah, it's always a good tour.
It's true. We got to do that for 7 days, and then they had van issues, and we're no longer able to stay on the tour. So we were on our own, driving through Canadian Rockies.
So that was Broken Hope and Oceano, Fallujah, Rivers of Nihil, and who else?
Kublai Khan.
Wow. And that was... I mean, like, I know that I've toured with Oceano before, and I didn't really listen to them until I saw them live. I'd never heard them, really. I'd heard of them, but I did a tour with them in 2018, and I was like, whoa, this band is, like, the heaviest, craziest sounding live band ever. Yeah. They're so crushing sounding. Yeah, they're very heavy. When we toured with them, Chasen Westmoreland was playing drums for them. So that was cool to see. I don't know who's playing drums for them now, but he was super sick. That was cool to get to watch him play. The dude that's playing for them now is the former Shadow of Intent drummer. Oh, okay. He's great, and I can't. Yeah, you know what? I think Jared's like knows him through the drummer community. I think I've seen some of his videos. He's really sick also. Yeah, he's very, very good. That Shadow of Intent band has had just like nonstop awesome drummers, because they're the other dude that played for them, Anthony Barone played for them. Yeah, and now he's in Beneath the Massacre. Yeah, and then I think on this last tour, Bryce Butler played, who's also great. Yeah, who's also sick. Played for them. So yeah, they've definitely had some real sick drummers over the years. So you've been playing guitar for how long? I don't know, since I was like 12, seriously. So 16 years. Yeah. 16 years. How long have you been playing guitar?
I don't know.
She doesn't know. I've been playing guitar for since I was 12 as well, but I felt like I thought we were the same age. I'm 28. Ooh.
Oh, wow. Wow. Dean's the only one outside of the 20-somethings age group.
That's correct. I'm 39. No, yeah. I'm 32. I'm turning 33 this year, which is an interesting little tidbit. So if anybody wants
really interesting.
It's very interesting, and I'm almost at my half birthday. So if you feel
your half birthday, now we have to give you shit twice a year.
Yeah, I feel like you give me shit every day, dude. Thank you. So what have you been up to since you've been at home? I know that we've just been trying to play guitar. Well, she's been playing more guitar lately than I have.
Well, only very recently. I feel like when this first began, you were playing more guitar than me. I wasn't really playing much guitar.
Kind of going in waves. I'm playing lots of video games. By the way, if anybody's listening to this in the year 2021, we're talking about the coronavirus pandemic. That's what we're talking about. The reason why we aren't going outside. So, Brody, how has your life changed? Please contrast and compare life before and now during the coronavirus pandemic.
I guess in a lot of ways, like, we kind of planned on being inactive during this time anyway, because we literally ended the entire album cycle for that last record like 7 days before the first case arrived in the state or in North America. So like we had kind of planned on just, or at least I had planned on using this time to just like work on material for the next record. Right. So really, I mean, other than, you know, the increased awareness of, you know, going out and the fact that this thing is out there and not being able to get, you know, food at the restaurants that I like this is pretty much probably exactly what I would have been doing if this hadn't happened.
Well, I've got to say, it looks like you're being fed quite well.
Thank you.
I don't know if Dean meant that as a compliment.
No. I'm just joking. I know that we are getting fed quite well.
We are getting fed extremely well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right now we are both like, oh boy,
rapidly gaining weight.
We need to like keep moving, otherwise we're gonna just amass.
Amass so much mass.
Amass. Mass.
Amass.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're getting fat?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's another thing that's changed. I do have a gym membership.
Okay.
So
all
like
right.
that's something that I would normally do like 4 days a week. Now I have not done anything since then.
You'd usually have a gym membership for 4 days out of the week.
Yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily go, but 4 days out of any given week, you would have it on your person.
Yeah. I rented it. I would rent it
for
4 days.
It's a timeshare.
A week.
It's a gym share.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So normally you would be like being a bit more fit and active, but now it's sort of like everybody's kind of scared to go outside.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I just like if I feel really terrible about myself, I'll get up off the couch if I'm watching TV or whatever and just do like some push-ups. So that's pretty much been the extent of my physical activity since this has all happened. And I've been trying to convince myself to buy like some, weights and maybe like a weight bench, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like it's getting further and further away from the front of my thoughts at this point. So that's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess.
All right. Now we're talking about cookies.
Yeah. Speaking of cookies, let's get a snack. No.
Well, Claire was like, I had talked to my mom today and she was saying that her neighbor was going to go make dinner. And it was like, what was it? 2:30 p.m.
Yeah, it was 2:30.
And that was very early. And so we said, whoa, he's going to make dinner. That's kind of strange. And then I was thinking back, and we then ate at about 3:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, we actually probably ate earlier than that old dude did, because he said he was going to make dinner at 2:30, so it probably wouldn't be ready for about an hour and a half. And I said, we ate dinner probably before him. And Claire says, no, that was lunch. And I said, well, we had breakfast and then we had lunch. And she says, no, that was second breakfast.
Second breakfast.
Now our amount of meals is just sort of...
No, that has never changed. In my opinion, if you get up early and you have oatmeal or cereal, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, sometimes 9 o'clock, you're hungry again by 10 or 11. That's second breakfast.
Right.
2, 3 p.m. is lunch.
Uh-huh.
And then,
I don't know why you're laughing. I'm
7
trying to learn something
p.m.
here.
is dinner.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I'm just, I didn't know, so I didn't know.
4 meals a day.
4 meals a day? Okay,
yeah.
so okay, sorry, Brody, one second. So we just had cereal, which usually we don't have cereal.
Usually we have oatmeal.
Yeah, and then we had wraps.
Yeah.
And then we had pizza.
Yeah. And we're gonna eat again.
Okay, so that is 4.
And I'm sorry, I had a piece of lemon meringue pie today.
We are gaining weight
at like 10 a.m. because I was so hungry after that cereal. At like fucking
things are getting dire
8 a.m. or whatever.
over here. Yeah. So, are you keeping up your guitar playing schedule at all, or is it sort of just like, you know?
I mean, I'm kind of like, it's weird because like this is the time where like I have to wear the producer hat and kind of just like do this whole record. So it's always like a real battle for me during like album writing time to like stay on any kind of like normal practice routine or anything like that. Like I'll have days where like, I just don't touch writing at all. And I'll just like work on some stuff. But this is usually for me like a pretty dry time for practice. But I have been trying to play.
Do you write all the music?
Yeah.
I mean, shared thing.
I would say like 90% of the music. Like John on the last 2 records, he's had 1 song on each record. Biggs is in charge of like all the vocals and concept stuff. But yeah, I'm like pretty much just like the music guy in the band.
Cool.
So yeah, and I think I'm kind of getting the sense on this record that I don't know if John's gonna write a song or not. He usually like comes forward about it pretty early on if he's got anything cooking, but he hasn't brought anything up, so we'll see what happens. But I've definitely been like, it's been like a good streak for me. Like since this is all kind of shut down, I've been doing some good work, I think, and even like I've even had some time to like work on some like I'm trying to get into like cinematic stuff, like more like not necessarily orchestral, just like stuff
soundscape.
Yeah, I guess stuff like that. I've been trying to do that on the side, like do like a minute of something, like literally just like 1 minute of something a day, like outside of what I'm writing for the band, just to kind of like turn it off and go somewhere else with like the energy, I guess. So
So you're saying
that's a cool
stuff,
idea.
That stuff wouldn't be for the new album. It would just be sort of like getting your writing practice in with a different type of
It's like clearing your mind, but also composition practice.
It's just like I've been getting pretty into like some different like VST libraries recently, like through the Contact player and stuff like that, and just like reading a lot about like that whole world, and it's just like really fascinating to me. Plus like I've been playing Doom a lot recently, and like I'm a big fan of Mick Gordon, the guy who's done the Doom stuff, and I just think like his whole process is so fascinating, and I've just kind of been like really trying to like just stick my head in that world and like kind of learn about it a little bit. So like doing that stuff, those little minute clips, I'm trying to like tell myself that this is not for the band. I don't want it to like be attached to the band, because like everything that I've written in the last 10 years has been for this band. I haven't had like any other outlet, because I always find some way to shoehorn whatever it is that I'm doing into Rivers, for better or for worse. And so like I don't know, I'm trying to like practice not doing that, just having something that can kind of clear my head out, that doesn't go for the band, just for whatever.
Yeah, and you'll sell that at a nice premium on Fiverr.com.
Fiverr, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, write me an ambient soundscape. Here's $4.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a fascinating world, the whole composer, like especially the more modern stuff. Like I think it's neat that there's a lot of like movies now that are kind of like abandoning like the traditional just like orchestral seating style like stuff. Like every movie you watch like around like 1998 1999 has these big strictly orchestral like soundtracks over them, but I think it's cool how now it's almost like weird if any movie has like a strictly orchestral soundtrack. There's always like some kind of integration of like weird electronic stuff, or like just like field recordings or whatever. Like I don't know, it's that stuff's like been what's been getting me like excited lately, I guess.
The 1917 soundtrack, I think, is cool. A really good example of that, because I like really
Newman.
Cool orchestral parts, but there's like very unsettling and perturbing like low whirring sounds, or like synth soundscapes that just add to the emotion that is being purveyed at that time.
I'm thinking about putting in some new sounds into our next album. The sound of the garbage truck passing by the back of our apartment every single day, 4 times a day.
That's our ambient soundscape. The fucking
it's crows crying, and then
just 4 times a day garbage truck,
and then glass shattering.
Yeah, when they pick it up and it's like So sorry if that was really loud. I tried to.
No, it sounded really good. There was one thing that I saw with Hans Zimmer. He was doing, I think it was Hans Zimmer. He was, you know what? Actually, it was a dude I don't remember the name of. He was going through the instruments that he used for a pretty big movie that he did the score for, and he went to his buddy who had like this shop full of random things, big metal plates and like ball bearings and big springs, and he would have crazy microphones, and they would just spend hours just trying to work on certain sounds and moving the steel plates in a way and slowing it down and adding effects.
And they built a huge like metal thing. That was Hans Zimmer.
You were going to say Hannibal Lecter.
No, I was going to say Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer.
No, that was Hans Zimmer. I'm pretty sure, because it was like the Batman.
It was the Batman.
He built. He he built like some weird ass thing that was just like tons of sheets of metal for the Batman soundtrack. I don't know
was his buddy though.
I don't know which Batman it was.
I don't know how buddy they are. I mean, it was another guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh hey, my childhood friend has some metal in his apartment.
Yeah.
No, it was like some dude that he works with, I guess. But that was kind of cool because it was really non-traditional sounds, which I think is really interesting. But also, I mean, who like the way that you and I both write albums, like all three of us would write an album in the same way. We'd all write the music, and then
you don't have to include me. I've never written an album.
But if you were to write an album, because you are in a band, that's actually why I didn't say it. Then you would write it the exact same way. We would all write the music. Who knows how many members would be involved? And then when we're done the music, we would go into the studio and get it done as quickly as we possibly could, because that's the only way to really make any money, because the longer you spend in the studio, the more expensive it gets, and you get diminishing returns and stuff. So like for someone to have access to a crazy studio with all these really weird effects and spending months on, a few tracks is really interesting. It's just not something I really think that I have the capability of doing just financially.
Yeah.
Also, I'd be like confused. I'd be like, where do I put the microphone? So
something I think about all the time is like the ability to make musical sounds or cool soundscapes with non-instrument things. I guess this is going back to like the Hans Zimmer thing. But I specifically remember when I was in Japan, my sister and I, we were taking a taxi and it was pouring rain out, and the sound of the taxi's windshield wipers was really bassy and low, and it sounded so ominous, just going back and forth. It was like,
it's like creepy.
Yeah, it's like I wanted to record that sound and put that in a horror movie or something. Like you could build that sound with a bunch of other stuff and be a really like high stress, high anxiety scene.
I'm stressed out right now. So you did your job. So you're just hanging out at home. You're playing guitar. You're trying to write some music. Do you guys have any plans for when the album is going to come out? Or at this point, you just have no idea because no one can schedule anything anymore?
Yeah, I mean, we had a plan, I guess. I mean, and I guess that plan is still in place. But the way like the things are looking, like, I don't really know if it's worth banking on anything at this point. I don't know, not to get like too into this, because everybody's just being beat over the head with this in the news, but like, I don't know, I don't really see much going on in our world until there's like either an effective cure or treatment rather, or a vaccine, because like how these things work is, this whole social distancing thing was put into place just to like flatten this curve. It was never put into place to like just eliminate the problem. You know what I mean? Like this is just like to control it. Like what people seem to think like, oh, well, only 2 more weeks and then it's all good. Like it's not gonna be like that until there's a vaccine or a treatment that actually works. And even then, I can't imagine that the attendance numbers at concerts are going to be like like they were right away. So it's kind of it's a tough call.
It's tricky to say because like we were talking about this today, is like, are people going to be so stoked to get out that they'll just go out?
There'll be higher numbers.
Or are people going to be scared to go out and there's going to be a lot fewer? So I feel like depending on the market and depending on like that state or that province or that country's response to this whole thing, it'll sort of dictate like how it was pushed in their sort of handling of it. Like if you look at Sweden right now, they're doing social distancing, but they still have plenty of companies open, plenty of businesses are open, and they're trying for sort of a different thing than, let's say, we are here in BC, where everything is, mostly shut down, and then there's even stricter stuff like in New York where everything is shut down, and there's so many different, like, there's a gradation of how different places have dealt with it. So maybe that is going to be a big factor on seeing, which markets sort of come back quicker.
Yeah. I think the other thing here to consider is that even if people are, really excited to get back out there and like all want to, go to the shows right away. Like, cause hell yeah, we're finally free. The other thing you're going to have to consider is that every band is going to want to tour at once. Yes. So like, you're just going to have like such an oversaturation of the market for some time. And unless your tour is like doing something like insanely special, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough time, because kids are going to want to get the most for their money, because there's going to be 7 shows a week. You know what I mean? So like, it's, I don't know. I don't want to like go there and get all dark about everything, but it's just like, it's like, I don't know. This whole thing is very unique and very strange,
Yes.
And, I guess nobody really knows, what's going to happen, but, I don't know. If you look at things like the Spanish flu from like 1918, I admittedly don't know a ton about it, but my great grandmother was like actually a nurse in Philadelphia during this whole thing. Like the same kind of, that was way worse, but the same kind of thing with that happened where like, they thought it was gone. And then it just like, mutated and it came back the next season. It was, it's like, and that's how these kind of things work. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like I personally think the rest of this year is like certainly canned, for live music.
Yes. Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, I don't know how you couldn't. I mean, like there's 500,000 cases in the United States right now, alone. So, I don't know. It's, we'll see what happens, I guess.
And you know what else we're going to see? A bit of an ad right now here. I'm just going to put a bit of an ad. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to come back. And we're going to spend more time with our really dark, pessimistic, terrifying, brooding friend,
Brody
Uttley. No, I'm just kidding. He's great. We'll be back.
Brody Uttley.
We'll be back with Brody Uttley.
Well, that's what I was getting at when I said Brody. I was trying to insinuate the brooding that you had said, but then I had to straight up say broody because I don't think you got it.
Brooding Brody.
Well, anyway, we're back here with Brody Uttley of Rivers of Nihil. So,
I want to just point something out right now because there's a podcast I really like called Behind the Bastards, and I try to get Dean to listen to it all the time. And
I have listened to it,
but I don't.
A couple times.
I don't really think you listen to it, and yet you segued into the ad the exact same way the host of that podcast, Robert Evans, does.
Did I segued? I didn't even notice. Yeah, it was just how I talk. It's just normal.
I mean,
my brain just.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like I've listened to the Talk Is Jericho podcast where he'll be in the middle of a sentence and he'll be like, and speaking of shoes, I love my shoes. I think that's funny when that happens on podcasts.
Yeah, that's exactly what you did, and that's exactly what Robert Evans does. But it's cool when he does it because he's usually talking about something like horrendous that has happened in history. So he's like, you know what won't pour bleach up your children's assholes are these sponsors.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's really brutal.
Okay, well, speaking of horrible things, let's change the subject rather than speaking of horrible things. Let's talk about awesome things.
Let's talk about awesome things. So are you playing the new Final Fantasy game? Do you care about that?
Are you playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, Brody?
I'm not. Although I beat Doom 2016 today, not the new Doom, but the one from several years ago. I beat that today.
We were just playing that, actually.
Yeah, we just played it for the first time, 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago?
Yeah, we beat it. Yeah, we beat it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I beat it.
Yeah, I didn't play as much as Dean, but yeah,
it was great.
Fucking flex on me there. Whatever.
Yeah, that's a cool game. It's
great.
I just beat the last boss this morning with my cereal. So I'm now in the market for a new game potentially. I don't know. Like I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games. I know that's
me neither.
Probably a bad thing. But yeah.
No, it's not a bad thing.
I've never played any of them either.
I think it's just hard for me to suggest for you to play Final Fantasy VII Remake if you haven't played the original. But that being said, you probably still would enjoy it. I think it just a lot of the scenes you'd be like, what the fuck is going on right now?
I think if you like anime, you'd enjoy the
Which
game.
I'm not a huge anime fan.
But for you, there's a huge amount of nostalgia for the game. I never played the games as a kid, but I really like anime, and watching you play that, I'm like, this is fucking anime the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's so ridiculous.
It's very ridiculous.
And you just do everything in that game.
Yeah.
That it comes across with an anime sort of feel for me.
I was kind of like, I guess when those games were popular, I mean, they're still popular, but like when I was younger, and like all my friends would play them, I don't know, they kind of just like intimidated me. Like they just seemed like way too, like, there's too many things you can do. I always kind of like, at that point, I liked games where like stuff was like clear objectives and stuff. I guess like RPG style stuff wasn't really for me when I was a kid. Now I love that stuff. But when I was a kid, I was more about like the Mega Man games and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you play Dark Souls at all? Get into Dark Souls?
Yeah. I played Dark Souls 1 and I played Bloodborne.
Oh yeah.
Dark Souls 3 is where it's at though.
That's true. Dark Souls 3 is my favorite, I think too.
That's the GOAT.
The third.
It's so good.
I hear that's the hardest one. Is that true?
No, I don't agree.
I think the second one might be the hardest one because it has like 4 expansion or 4 DLC packs, and they're all really crazy.
I didn't even beat Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2, but then again, I haven't beat the DLC of Dark Souls 3 either.
Which one?
Either of them.
There are 2.
Yeah, Ashes of Ariandel or the Ring City.
The Ring City. Yeah, the third one is...
no, sorry, I finished everything in Ashes of Ariandel.
The third one is the most polished and like the most fun and the craziest looking. Obviously, the graphics are the craziest, and it sort of ends with like a combination of the first and second game as well, like mashing everything together in a certain way that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome.
Really
Did you play that? What's the game it's made by the same studio as Bloodborne?
Sekiro.
Did you play that?
Yeah. I didn't beat it, but I mean, I got halfway through or something, and I'm just like,
is it super? Is it super hard?
Yeah, it goes by a different mechanism for injuring enemies. So like instead of just digging away at their HP, you have to get their like basically their poise meter up all the way, so you can stagger them, and then you can do a death blow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you have to do it with like a lot of speed.
Yeah.
So every time you deflect, every time you parry one of their attacks, it increases their poise meter a little bit. You have to defend.
It's parry and riposte, right?
Yeah, defend and then attack, defend, and then they'll do a move where you have to defend against it, and then so it's like really stressful and really quick, and you have to memorize every single enemy's moveset, which isn't dissimilar from any of the Dark Souls games or Bloodborne, but it just like it felt higher, like faster paced.
Yeah,
or something.
Really difficult.
It was very difficult.
I found it too difficult.
Huh. I also didn't like the aesthetic quite as much.
Maybe it's cool.
I was thinking about maybe getting that on the topic of Dark Souls and stuff, but maybe the other game I was looking at getting is that what is it? The guy from the video game with the guy for Death Stranding. It's called. Have you heard of that?
Heard of it, but haven't played it.
I've heard some bad things, but I've also, I don't know. I feel like the game is really wacky.
Yeah.
So some people really like it, and some people were kind of underwhelmed. But
yeah.
I mean, out of all those games, in my opinion, if you haven't played Dark Souls 3, that's the only answer.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's really great.
But I haven't played Dark Souls 2 either, though. So like,
that's okay.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, I haven't beat Dark Souls 2. I didn't even get that far, I don't think.
I would say out of any of them, play the third one first.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I hear.
And actually, the third one I played before I ever played the other two.
Huh.
Yeah. It was the first one I played.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So Brody, I noticed you have a nice tapestry behind you, but in front of the tapestry lies several guitars. Can you tell me, if you had to say if there was any guitar company that you preferred over others, would you say you're an Ibanez guy or a Jackson guy or maybe some other brand that people watching this may have heard of? What's your preferred guitar brand?
Well, I play Kiehls guitars.
Oh, Kiehls guitars. Okay, cool. That's great. Now, I actually also play Kiehls guitars.
Yeah.
And there's a weird thing, actually. Claire, now, what kind of guitars do you play?
I also happen to play Kiehls guitars.
That's very interesting. So all three of us are now playing Kiehls guitars. Now, if somebody was to ask you, why would they pick Kiehls guitar over, let's say, I don't know, some brand to be unnamed, hence 2/4. I don't even know. Hitherto. Why do you like those guitars?
They're fully customizable.
Oh my God! Really? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. They're great.
So did you first because I know that you were playing Kiehls guitars when they were Carvin still.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brody is like the OG Carvin Kiehls guy.
That's
in
cool.
like all the group of all the touring musician buddies that I have. He's like the dude that was playing them before pretty much anybody that I knew.
Oh.
Which is a big reason why I was such a long time holdout, because I didn't want to play the same guitar that he was playing.
You're like, I cannot be associated with this guy.
I cannot be associated with Brody.
Yeah, well, Brody.
Yeah.
Brooding.
So when did you start playing Kiehls guitars? Or Carvin, I guess.
I think I got... Sorry, I'm refreshing my screen. I think I got...
That's okay, man.
My first one in 2014. I think at that time, they were the only guitar company that had a baritone scale 7-string available.
Oh, right.
Because before that, I had been playing 26.5-inch scale guitars, and if I could get a 27-inch scale on a 7-string, I was like, that's what I was looking for. And at that time, I'm pretty sure that they were the only company that was doing stuff like that, where it wasn't like 2-year wait times on builds.
Yeah.
Plus, I had played a couple of Carvins that I was really stoked on. It's the chair.
It's very distracting.
It's the chair.
These are noise canceling headphones. I'm sorry. I can't hear anything that's going on.
You can't hear it. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I know that you were playing them for a long time, and I feel like you probably suggested that I play them for a while too. Mm-hmm. I met Jeff at NAMM in 2016.
Yeah.
I think 2016, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hey man, you should play my guitars." I guess he was playing some of my band's music at the factory every once in a while, and he was like, "I really like the band. I want to work with you guys." And that was really exciting and really cool for me, because I was like playing Ibanez up until then. But I'll say that Ibanez, because they're a really big company, and because the artist reps are maybe a little bit more far removed from the head of the company, we didn't get tons of support. Not to say that they're a bad company. They're awesome and make great guitars. I just didn't feel the same sort of connection that I did pretty much right away when I met Jeff. I was like, oh, Jeff is the owner, runs it, and wants to work with us. It's like, you can't really find that in a lot of other companies.
Yeah, you're friends with the owner of the company.
Yeah, the dude is just like a regular guy, and he's he's like, "Oh, I'm doing this. What do you think about it?" And you can text him. Is that kind of the relationship you've had with him too? You sort of just you feel on a closer level to that guy as in comparison to maybe some of the other companies you might work with.
Yeah. I mean, he's I've been to dinner with him and stuff, and he's always whenever we roll through San Diego, I try to stop at the shop, and I think the last time we were there, we went and got tacos or something like that. And I mean, it's cool that if I have an issue with something, I can text the owner of the company. That's obviously something that
it's very cool.
You wouldn't get anywhere else. I'm also really good friends with the head guitar tech there, Albert. He's kind of he's a dude that's just been with that company since forever, and he's got stories about Steve Vai and Jason Becker and all those all that stuff,
crazy.
The real history of that company when they were Carvin, and still, and I've kind of become friends with him over the years, and he'll call me up and we'll just talk about whatever it is that he's working on. He comes out to the shows whenever we're in San Diego and hangs out. So yeah, it's just cool, and the guy Manny, who was there before,
Manny was great.
Yeah, he was sick. And Brandon and Jesse and everybody that's there now are all great. So yeah, it's it's definitely something that it's cool that if I have any problems, it's just a text message away. It's not this huge chain of command thing. So yeah, and I mean, they've been incredibly incredibly good to me. I mean, they like absolutely, gave me a shot when like I did not, there was no reason that I should. No, it's true. Like, there's no reason in 2013 why like that dude should have had any interest in giving me guitars.
I see where you're coming from. Your perspective is okay. Well, here's like, and I don't mean to say any shit about any other companies, but it's only because it's a product of how his company is set up. He is the dude that's running the shop. And he also owns it. He doesn't have to deal with distributors. They deal directly with customers. So he's able to sort of deal with his artists in a different way than most other companies can of that size. I mean, they're not a small company. They put out, I think they're sending out 20 guitars a day or something like that. They try for 4,000 guitars a year. And it's like, that's a lot of guitars going out that are all custom. And direct to customers. So he's put himself in a place where he's able to be like, oh, I like this guy, so I'm going to help him out. I'm going to take a chance on him. I'm going to see if he's going to become a good advertising potential for my brand because I believe in the things that he or she is doing.
Yeah. I think
it's cool.
I think another cool thing about Jeff is that it seems like he makes shit happen. Like he says he's going to do something and then he does it. Like, it seems like he's just like, every year he's got like, here's three new builds, 3 totally, new ideas for this year or whatever. Like, and it's like, I don't know. He says he's going to do something and then he does it. So I think that's cool. And I think it's cool that, being that I came on board with them when they were still carving, I remember getting the original phone call from Manny, like telling me about the name change and everything, and like admittedly, like I was like why, like why, like it's Carvin, like I mean it's like I used to get the catalog in the mail when I was a kid, you know what I mean, like it's like why are you guys changing the name? It's already established. So admittedly, like when they first did that, I didn't know why they were doing it, but like it's obviously worked in such a huge way, because I mean just like social media numbers alone, like the growth there, and then the move to the new building and everything, like they've just skyrocketed since 2014. Really crazy. Yeah,
they totally rebranded.
It's the first company that you, Claire, have really worked with as well on any sort of like
well, I feel the exact same as Brody was saying when they were first working with you, and you were thinking, why the hell would anybody want to support you or endorse you in that way? That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, because Claire started working with them this year at NAMM in 2020. Jeff approached you and he said, so you're doing lots of videos. It's like,
he said something along the lines of how he'd way rather see both of us playing Kiehls in the YouTube videos, but maybe you want to keep playing your Ibanez or whatever. And I was like, fuck no, I don't. Those things have nickel-plated frets.
Who wants nickel-plated frets? Stainless steel frets all the way.
Yeah, the stainless steel frets are such a game changer. And also, they're just like such cooler guitars. As you said, totally customizable. Like, the guitar I have now is so much fucking cooler looking than any guitar I've had.
I think the guitar that you have now, I don't know if have you seen Claire's Splatter green guitar?
I don't know if I have or not.
So I'll put a picture up on the screen. We'll show you after the stream or after the interview.
After this, whatever this is, this podcast.
But I feel like it is you more than any guitar I've seen you play.
Yeah.
Like it's got personality that you sort of have in it, which is cool.
Well, and so something I think is really awesome, because I told him at NAMM I was filming a music video with my band the following weekend. Mm-hmm. So it would be shitty to get endorsed by a company, and then this music video that comes out in a month or whatever after it happens that I'm playing an Ibanez. So he said, pick out a couple guitars here at NAMM, at our booth, that you really like, and if it doesn't sell over the next day or whatever, then you can take that one home. And the green Splatter was like my immediate first choice. I was like, okay, that one.
Super cool.
And if I can't take that one, like, I don't know, that other one. But that was for sure the number one, and then that's the one I got, so that was really sick. Yeah. And I was immediately like, that's Reanimator guitar.
Yeah, it just really looks like I don't know, you know how, Brody, when there's like a guitarist that's on stage and they have a certain type of guitar, and you're just like, it feels like that person is just like that guitar is just them.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I absolutely know what you
weird.
mean. For sure.
Yeah. I would say like Mohammed from Necrophagist has...
The Xiphos is him.
The Xiphos style, that's him. And, you know, like even Kerry King has the BC Rich guitars. Or, no, what does he play?
Yeah. Yeah,
BC
Rich.
Just like the style, or like Steve Vai with the Gem, like they go on stage and it's like, that's something about that guitar is very iconic looking.
Or
along
like
with that,
Paul Gilbert with the pink guitar. For me, I'm like the Terrifying Guitar Trip, or Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah.
Like his guitar, that's him. Mm-hmm. That is him.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how that happens. Sort of the artist and the instrument sort of go so well together that it just like becomes an iconic look, which is very cool, but hard to kind of pinpoint. You can't be like, in my head, this would work. It's like, you could try a bunch of guitars and it just look like whatever, but it has to have that sort of unique quality to it.
Yeah.
So Brody, now that we're winding down this conversation, hanging out with you, do you have anything that you want to plug? Anything that you want anybody listening or watching right now to go check out? Maybe something new that you're working on, or anything that you're trying to sell? I know you don't. But anyway, do you have anything like that, Brody?
We've opened up the old plug bag.
We've opened up the plug bag.
I teach lessons, guitar lessons. I offer like mixing and mastering services. I mean, I have a signature Kemper tone pack that those listening can purchase on my Instagram page.
Cool.
And that's about it.
Yeah, I have. I actually have the same one. I know it's your plug time. But I actually have the same one.
Yeah, sorry, Dean.
I have. Oh, sorry.
When did the plug bag get passed to you?
Oh, sorry, Brody. Are you done?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, thank you very much, Brody.
You now are holding the plug bag.
So you've left me holding the bag. Tone Crate is the company in question, or being discussed right now. They're out of is it San Antonio?
Yeah, San Antonio.
Yeah, I think you went down there, and then you were like, "Oh, you should go hit these guys up," or I think you told them about me or something like that. And then I went down there, and now we both have tone packs on sale, Kemper packs on sale on their website, and that was a cool experience. I feel like maybe you were better equipped when going down there, because I feel like you know more about tone than I do. Because I went down there and I just played guitar and I made jokes, and everybody. Just kind of sat around being like, and then I was like, okay, so what do you guys want me to do? And they're like, oh, you just play guitar, it's all good. And I said, boy, my hands are tired. And they're like, oh, that's okay, we got the stems here, we'll just play the stems and just reamp them. So then I was sitting there without a guitar for a while, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Was there like 4 people or 5 people in the room?
There was 4 or 5 people in the room, and everybody was very nice. And Clifton, the main dude, has one working ear.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that is insane, because everybody around him was like, oh, the magical ear. He's got the magical ear. The golden ear, golden ear. And I was like, golden ear, dude. Where did I... So I flew
Golden Ears Bridge.
Golden Ears Bridge.
It's named after him.
Near Vancouver, BC, Canada. So that was an interesting time. I feel like maybe you have more experience with that stuff, but when I went down there, I just said, sounds good. And then sometimes they would say, no, it doesn't sound very good. And I'm like, oh, totally. Yeah, you're right. And then...
That doesn't sound very good.
And then I was finished, and I flew back home, and that was it. But I've heard some good reviews on the tone pack that has my name on it. But it did feel awesome to play through, for sure. I wish I had that tone I could play live, but I just don't have a Kemper. But
that's
right.
Man,
they did a great job.
You don't have a Kemper. I forgot about that. I thought you had a Kemper.
Well, why would you think that?
I don't know. Because you have a... All right, well, anyway. Yeah. I thought you had a Kemper for some reason, but that's right. No. You are a fractal guy.
I'm a fractal guy. Claire is now looking at me puzzled.
I'm looking at you puzzled because I didn't realize that the plug bag was something that could be passed to the hosts.
The plug bag is now closed. Unless you have something to plug.
I absolutely have something to plug.
Okay, what do you have to plug?
So my band, the Hallowed Catharsis.
Oh, Claire's band, yeah.
Was recently signed to Lacerated Enemy Records.
Oh, very good.
And our EP that is not out right now is called Kill Owner, and pre-order is available on laceratedenemy.bandcamp.com or laceratedenemy.bigcartel.com. You can get pre-order, album, shirts, other merch.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah,
congratulations.
It's cool. Thank you. It's cool.
I'm going to close up.
Yeah, I'm done with the plug bag.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Brody.
Yeah.
And I hope that you learned something. We laughed. We cried. I cried. We all.
He's gonna cry some more.
We all gained wisdom and we basked in the glowing, warming glow of your excellence. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll talk to you after we're not scared of dying and by going outside, because maybe we'll go on tour together.
Yeah, that would be very, very sick. But
that'd be very good. Although our bands will be releasing albums potentially in the same kind of time frame, which means you and I are now enemies.
Yeah, true.
Strict competitors.
Goodbye.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. We'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.